guys, so if you don't already know, I recently purchased an '89 Supercharged MR2. This has been my dream car since I was 16 years old. I've always loved the look of this car. It's just got so much character and so much spirit, and it's so much fun to drive. I just had to have one, and I finally got one. So I wanted to do a video series of just random clips of stuff that I've been working on with this car from the moment of me seeing it for the first time, changing the fuel pump, anything, odds and ends that I'm working on with this vehicle. I've just been gathering video clips, so I just want to do a multi-part series where it's just, you know, random clips that I find kind of interesting, and hopefully you guys get some kind of enjoyment out of it. But basically I'm just cataloging the journey, and as I go, if I come across something that is a little more, you know, intense and should require a full-length video that I think maybe somebody will benefit off of, we'll make a full-length video. But in the meantime, I just want to get something out there for you guys to watch so you can kind of see how I've been doing stuff and kind of my style of doing things with this vehicle. So enjoy. Coming up soon.
Your destination is
there
on the
she
left.
is. Is made it. All right, so to get the fuel tank out, you got to disconnect a bunch of stuff underneath the car, obviously. Hoses, fuel lines, whatever. You also have to disconnect the sending unit and fuel pump wiring, which you have to take the center console out for. And this is a fuel tank, what they call a fuel tank the long way. God, man, it's like a glizzy. Yeah, so this is the sending unit. So this is what tells you your fuel level. I had to access this plug and the plug for the fuel pump from the top. That makes any sense. These are just rubber isolator pads. Will protect these little corners here. Rubbing. These hoses right here, these are a son of a bitch to get off. Inside of the tank looks really, really good, which that's a huge problem. There's a baffle right there. The vent kind of slow the sloshing of fuel down, and then the pump sits in this little cup. That little cup, make sure that fuel is kind of always contained right there around the pump, and that fuel isn't going to splash away from it and lean the engine out during hard driving. Okay, so I got the fuel pump out. As you can see, this is the plastic cage that held the mesh, like the pre-filter mesh, and you can see it's just crumbling apart, right? Also, there's a piece of rubber that goes in between the pump, which this is the pump, this little can, and this bracket here, which kind of loops around. And this is what it looks like. It's called an isolator, or just like a shock. So it just sits in there, inside there like that. And this is what I pulled out from there. Yeah. Safe to say that it didn't hold up very well. So the fuel pump definitely needed to be replaced. Got the tank out and cleaned it up. Basically left the pump assembly on there and the sending unit, and just pressure washed it with some degreaser. Put some degreaser on there and pressure washed it. And then got the sizes I need off of this. Just 3/16, 9/16, and then fuel pump has a couple of 1/4-inch lines on it. All that stuff I'm gonna get from AutoZone and Amazon. Yeah, a little about this job is it sucks. Show you guys exactly why you want to rinse your tank out, even if it looks pretty clean. Rinse it out with some water. You see all those little bits of what look like paper that are in there? There's a lot more of that in there, but that came from the original pre-filter on the original pump. that black goo down there is what's left over of that rubber foot, the shock damper on the bottom of the pump. Prevents it from like getting beat up from bumps and stuff like that. So I just filled it up with water, sloshed it around. Might put a little bit of vinegar in there too after I dump this out, and do that a couple of times. Alright guys, this is it. Tank's going back in the car. I got some brand new stainless hose clamps on here. This is 1/2-inch hose. It's a little tight. It's going to be a little tight on this fitting, so what I did is I took some tin snips, left or right hand, doesn't matter, and just kind of stuck it in there and just rotated it to try to loosen up this end. Put some assembly goo on the inside of the hose here and here. These 1/4-inch and 3/16 hoses are just a little loose. I bought these little squeeze clamps, a little kit from Amazon, and obviously like finding worm clamps that small is kind of difficult, especially around here. I ended up just taking these ones to get them a little bit tighter, just squeezed them with some pliers to bend them in a little bit, make them tighter. Did that on the 3/16 and the 1/2-inch hose. This guy just put a little bit of super lube grease on the threads to help it go on a little bit easier, and got all the clamps facing down, worm clamps facing down. Likewise with the squeeze clamps that are going to need to be connected, I have those facing down as well, so that way they're accessible, because this is going to suck, but we will get it in one way or another. Alright guys, before I go into the car, I just wanted to share a couple of tools and things that I really recommend for this job. First and foremost, get you some pliers like this. These are some Harbor Freight ones. Some long reach needle nose with like a 90-degree bend on the end. Those are great for getting those clamps. Likewise, just some standard ones right here. Obviously, sockets, extensions, those are huge as well. Plenty of lighting. What I've been using are these shop lights. They're meant to go on the ceiling, but I never did mount them, and they work great for stuff like this, because all you got to do is plug them in. They don't go dead. Just slide them underneath the car, give you plenty of light, LED, so on and so forth. The other thing, huge, safety glasses. Make sure you wear safety glasses when you're underneath these cars, taking stuff off, dirt falling down. A huge thing, especially with these cars, is a vacuum, like a vacuum cleaner, shop vac, something like that. You need something that can get underneath the car and really get up in those spots. Obviously, like a brush, rag, whatever you have, to make sure that you can, you know, get those old spider eggs off, because this thing was covered in spider eggs. I don't know why, but probably because it was sitting for like 3 years. So, all right, it is the moment. Oh Jesus, I'm gonna step all over my light. It's the moment of truth, guys. Not good so far. Come on, baby. The ignition coil was unhooked. That would help. Ho 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 ho! So this is the cigarette lighter bezel. It's kind of rusty, so got all that rust knocked off and scuffed up, cleaned up, ready for paint. It's all about attention to detail. So quick update on the MR2. Took it for a test drive yesterday after getting the wheels on. Didn't even put the bottom plastic panels on the car yet because I was planning on picking it back up after I got it outside to kind of clean up the wheel wells, suspension components and stuff like that. Just wanted to take it for a quick test drive and just see how everything was doing. And first thing I noted was this car is a lot faster than I expected it to be. Pleasantly surprised, to say the least. I was really, really happy with the performance of this car. But first thing I noticed was a burning rubber smell. And what it ended up being is the front tires are rubbing the shock spring cup, the actual where the bottom of the spring sits. The inside of the tire on both sides of the front was rubbing. I'm like, what is going on? I put on the same exact tires that were on here, Kumo Extas 205 50 R15. Lo and behold, when I went back and looked at the bring a trailer listing, it said 195 up front. I just came outside, glanced at the rear tire, and I was like, they're all the same. Why wouldn't they be? Turns out they were not. Front tires got to get changed out. Luckily, these weren't damaged enough to be like, oh, they're completely toast or trash or anything. It just shaved off maybe like 1/8 inch of the tread. So I got some new tires on order to fix that. Other than that, I went through and cleaned up the center console, scrubbed it down with some soap and water since I already had it out. And I did this guy. I'm sure I saw the clip of that. But as far as I could tell, everything's in working order. The engine runs super smooth. It's quiet. Belt system, drive system, everything's quiet. I do want to eventually, especially this North Carolina summer, get the AC working. That would be really, really nice. It does kick the AC compressor on, puts load on the engine, but I'm not getting any cooling, so it could just be out of or low on refrigerant, which is probably not R134A, whatever it was, R15, can't remember. Either way, car drives great, shifts smooth, corners, handles perfectly. Just the tires are rubbing. That's the big issue there. Quick update on the MR2. Finally got the front tire rubbing situation fixed. Painted one of the calipers, the right front. I'm still waiting on the braided brake line, so I'm going to do that. And I think once I do that, I will, I don't know, try to do that in the driveway under some kind of tent cover so I don't cook myself to death. But I'll clean everything up and paint the rest of that. But when I went to test drive it yesterday just to get some gas, and I've driven it before, everything seemed fine, but the clutch is 100% slipping going from first into second, driving hard, which you can't have that. So I've got a Exidi, I don't know how you want to pronounce it, Tahiti clutch, stage 1 clutch coming, braided cable, rear main seal, and new bolts, ARP bolts coming for that job, because from what I hear, if you're wanting to increase the boost at all, it's just the right thing to do. Go with the stage 1 clutch. It's a little bit stiffer, but I think it was only like $100 more. The OEM one was good up to like 180 foot-pounds of torque, which isn't too far off of what this car does from stock. So, and if I'm already in there, I might as well just swap it out. So I'm doing the first oil change, and they had some sort of like Fram deal, basically like one of the little valve style drain plugs, but it required a special tube, which I don't have. I thought my one I had on the 4Runner would fit, but it's a completely different thread size, so I took the old drain plug from my 4Runner here, and also added a bunch of 3/8 inch very strong neodymium magnets, which by itself would probably, you know, stay on the actual drain plug, but I decided to add some glue as well
just to make sure that the magnet doesn't come loose and go flying around in there somewhere. So now we have something to gather metal from the actual engine, if there is any. Hopefully there's not, but thought that was pretty cool. Fits perfect. 3/8 magnet, 1/8 inch thick. I decided to take the plunge and buy me a Marketplace toaster oven, big one, so that I could do powder coating in the garage. This little part's like this. This is the valve cover, spark plug, valley cover, whatever you want to call it. I'm doing this in wrinkle finish black, so it's gonna have a nice texture to it. And I am replacing the original fasteners, which are kind of rusty crusty, with some titanium, gold titanium torque screws. So these are M6, 10 millimeter long. Got these on Amazon, 6-pack, that's what you'll need. And it's gonna look really sick. Got a gold valve cover in there already, so I think this plus the center divider, looking all wrinkly. These gold fasteners gonna look really nice. Here it is. Not too bad. There's a couple of thin spots right around here, which the plug boot will cover, right around that bolt hole, and up top here, which is going to be covered by a rubber seal. Definitely looks better in person than it does on this video. It looks terrible in this video for some reason, but did the backside as well, just for rust prevention. That's where I had the clip for the powder coating gun. You can see these like sharp corners are kind of hard to get, but I think it looks a lot better than it did, that's for sure. Once it's all bolted in, it'll look really good. Just a little mock-up. Wanted to put it in there, see how it would look. It looks so much better. It was all rusty crusty before, and these gold titanium fasteners, while completely unnecessary, look really good, and a 6-pack was only like 14 bucks shipped, so can't really beat that. Got those off of Amazon. You just look up M6 by 10 gold titanium, they'll pop up. There's plenty of choices, different choices, cap screws, flange bolts, all kinds of stuff, but I went with these just because I like the Torx fitting. Looks really just really cool, secure, very racy looking. Not racy like racism, but just race car like, you know. Just wanted to specify.